Before we start, let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to speak English, but your brain suddenly becomes very slow? You know the words, you studied the grammar, but when it's time to speak, your mind says, wait, translate first.
So, inside your head, something like this happens. First, the sentence appears in your language. Then your brain tries to translate it into English. And while your brain is busy translating, the conversation is already moving forward.
Someone asks a simple question, like, where are you from? And your brain goes, okay, translate, translate, translate.
And suddenly, the moment is gone. Your confidence drops, your heart beats faster, and you start thinking, why is speaking English so hard for me?
But here is the truth. Your English is not the problem. The real problem is that your brain is still working like a translator.
And today, we are going to change that. In this episode, you will learn how to stop translating in your head and start thinking in English naturally.
And if you want to improve your English through real conversations like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Because every week, we upload slow, natural English podcasts that help you speak more confidently.
So subscribe, relax, put on your headphones, and let's start training your brain to think in English. So hey, English learners, welcome back to the podcast. This is your calm place to practice easy English conversation. I'm Emma.
And I'm Daniel. And today we are talking about something very important for fluency: how to stop translating in your head and start thinking in English naturally.
Maybe you are listening while walking, maybe you are on a bus, maybe you are cooking dinner, or maybe you are relaxing in bed with headphones.
Wherever you are, we're really happy you pressed play today.
Because this episode might change the way you've learned English.
Daniel, I think almost every English learner does this. They translate in their head.
Yes, and it feels completely normal. Most learners don't even realize they're doing it, because this is exactly how many of us learned languages in school.
Exactly. Think about a typical classroom. The teacher writes a sentence on the board in your language. Then the teacher says, okay, class, translate this into English.
And everyone sits there thinking, okay, how do I change this sentence into English?
Word by word, piece by piece, almost like solving a puzzle.
So your brain learns a system like this. First, think in your language. Second, translate into English. Third, speak.
Language, translate, speak.
And that system works fine in a classroom because you have time. You can stop, you can think, you can check grammar, you can fix the sentence.
But real conversations are very different. People don't pause and wait for you to translate.
Exactly. In real life, conversations move quickly. Someone asks a question, you respond. They respond again. Ideas are flowing back and forth.
And if your brain is busy translating every sentence, everything suddenly feels slow.
Very slow. Your brain is trying to run two systems at the same time. First language, then translation, then English.
It's like trying to drive a car while constantly checking a map every 5 seconds. Eventually, you get lost or you stop moving.
And many learners feel that moment. You understand the question, you know the answer, but when you try to speak, your brain freezes.
Yes, your mind suddenly goes blank.
Or you start building the sentence like this. Okay, how do I say this word? Wait, is the grammar correct? Maybe this word. No, maybe that word.
And by the time you finally build the sentence, the conversation has already moved on.
That can feel really frustrating.
Sometimes embarrassing, too.
You might even start thinking something like, maybe my English is bad.
Or maybe I'm not good at languages.
But the truth is something very important. Your English ability is usually not the problem. The real problem is that the system your brain is using.
Exactly. Your brain is still working as a translator, but fluent speakers don't translate.
They think directly in the language.
And that's a huge difference. When you think in English, your brain moves faster, words appear more naturally, sentences feel smoother.
But when you translate, every sentence becomes a small task, a small problem to solve.
And solving problems in your head takes energy. Your brain gets tired.
That's why some learners feel exhausted after speaking English for only 10 minutes.
Yes, because their brain is doing double work. First language, then English.
It's like carrying two backpacks instead of one.
Exactly. And after a while, that weight becomes heavy.
So the goal is not just to learn more vocabulary or memorize more grammar rules.
The real goal is to train your brain to skip the translation step.
Instead of this system, think, translate, speak
We want a new system. Think, speak.
directly, naturally, without the extra step. Now, here's something important to understand. Thinking in English does not happen overnight.
Your brain has been translating for years, sometimes even decades.
So we can't expect it to suddenly change tomorrow.
But the good news is, your brain is very adaptable.
Yes, your brain loves patterns, and if you give it new patterns, it will slowly adjust,
At first, thinking in English might feel strange.
maybe even uncomfortable.
But that's normal. It's just your brain learning a new habit.
Like learning to ride a bicycle. At first, you wobble, you feel unstable, you make mistakes.
But with practice, your balance improves, and eventually you don't even think about it. You just ride.
Thinking in English works the same way. At first, it requires effort, but slowly your brain becomes faster, more automatic.
And something interesting happens. Your confidence begins to grow.
Because when you stop translating, speaking becomes lighter, easier, more natural.
Conversations feel smoother.
Your brain starts focusing on ideas instead of grammar puzzles.
And that is when real communication begins.
So, if you've ever felt slow while speaking English or nervous during conversations, remember this: you're not broken.
You're simply using a system that slows you down.
And the good news is, systems can be changed.
Exactly. And in the next section, we're going to show you how to train your brain to think in English naturally, step by step.
Simple techniques, real practice, things you can start doing today.
So stay with us, because this next part might completely change the way you practice English.
Think about it like this. Imagine you want to run, but every step you stop and think. Left foot, right foot.
You would never run smoothly. You would move slowly and awkwardly.
That is exactly what happens when you translate. Your brain is doing two jobs at the same time. Think in your language, then convert it into English.
That takes energy, and it makes speaking feel stressful.
Now, here's something very interesting. Fluent English speakers usually don't translate in their heads.
Yes, and this surprises many learners, because when you are studying English, translation feels natural, but fluent speakers use a completely different mental system.
Instead of translating, they connect ideas directly to English words.
Let's imagine a simple situation. You're walking in the park. Suddenly, you see a dog running across the grass.
A fluent English speaker's brain reacts instantly. The brain simply says, dog.
There's no extra step, no translation, no thinking like this. Okay, this is an animal. What is the English word? Ah, yes, dog.
That entire translation process simply does not exist in the mind of a fluent speaker. The idea and the English word are already connected.
It's like a direct bridge. Idea, English word.
That connection is the real secret of thinking in English.
And it happens with everything around us. When fluent speakers see rain, they think rain. When they feel tired, they think, I'm tired. When they feel hungry, the thought appears instantly, I'm hungry.
Their brain does not stop to build the sentence slowly. The sentence simply appears.
This happens because fluent speakers have thousands of direct connections in their brain. Ideas connected directly to English, situations connected directly to English, emotions connected directly to English.
And those connections grow stronger through daily exposure, listening, reading, speaking, thinking.
Daily, your brain learns that English is not something that needs translation. It becomes a natural language system.
But here's something important to understand. Fluent speakers were not born with this ability.
Exactly. Their brains simply trained those connections over time.
Think about how children learn language. A child sees water, someone says water. The child hears the sound again and again. Soon, the brain connects the idea with the word.
The child does not translate. The connection forms naturally.
That same process can happen for English learners, too. Even adults can build these direct connections.
But the key is practice without translation. You need moments where your brain experiences English directly.
At first, this might feel a little strange, maybe even uncomfortable.
But that's normal. It's just your brain learning a new habit.
Like learning to ride a bicycle. At first, you wobble, you feel unstable, you make mistakes.
But with practice, your balance improves, and eventually you don't even think about it, you just ride.
Thinking in English works the same way. At first, it requires effort, but slowly your brain becomes faster, more automatic.
And something interesting happens. Your confidence begins to grow.
Because when you stop translating, speaking becomes lighter, easier, more natural.
Conversations feel smoother.
Your brain starts focusing on ideas instead of grammar puzzles.
And that is when real communication begins.
So, if you've ever felt slow while speaking English or nervous during conversations, remember this: you're not broken.
You're simply using a system that slows you down.
And the good news is, systems can be changed.
Exactly. And in the next section, we're going to show you how to train your brain to think in English naturally, step by step.
Simple techniques, real practice, things you can start doing today.
So stay with us, because this next part might completely change the way you practice English.
Think about it like this. Imagine you want to run, but every step you stop and think. Left foot, right foot.
You would never run smoothly. You would move slowly and awkwardly.
That is exactly what happens when you translate. Your